if you're a fan of MMA, if you're an old school fan of MMA, either way, King of the Cage is a promotion that you know every fighter of note in the UFC, in MMA, has fought in King of the Cage. And we have King of the Cage Supremacy coming here into my backyard, into the suburbs of Detroit. I'm Dan Cox. Listen, I'm excited about this. We've got a big card, a great event. I'm lucky to be joined by a couple fighters that are fighting on this card, and that's Drew Morais and Brandon Mclaughlin. Drew, Brandon, how you guys doing, man?
Good. I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
Listen, I'm excited. Anytime there's an event that's in my backyard and I don't have to, get in an airplane with my crippled body and fly across the country, I'm loving life, man. And we got some good fights.
Oh, yeah. This card's loaded from top to bottom with some of Michigan's best, and even King of the Cage is bringing in some of their the regional guys they have come to fight some of Michigan's best. And I think this is going to be a good chance for Michigan as MMA whole to showcase the talent we have here. It seems like for the most part, just, besides like Darren Cruikshank and all them, that we're kind of on the back burner. People kind of overlook us. And I think this is a great chance for us to show that what we really have here in Michigan.
I agree with you 100%, Drew. This is an event that's right here in our backyard. Mixed martial arts right over here. And check this out at King of the Cage. So I really do want to get the word out. Now, you're fighting, Drew. Oh, by the way, Brandon, how you feeling, brother?
Good, man. Ready to go. Fight week's 1 week away, man. So I'm top of my game, all peaked out, ready to go.
That's fantastic. And, obviously you guys, you're training together. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. We're training together. We're both roommates. So, work on the same schedules, midnight. So we do the same stuff every single day together, man.
Yeah. So you guys are keeping each other on the straight and pushing. I think that could be a great thing to have that kind of support, man.
We got this yin yang thing over here, man. Where you lack, I pick up, and where I lack, he picks up, and it's been working out very well.
I think that's really important. I got to say, Drew, if you look at, fighters in the past and how when they fight, support each other in their camps, and just to come in and help them train or spar. But when you've got someone that you've been training with and you're both fighting on the same card, there is that extra push and support that I think really does make a difference. Now, Drew, you're fighting against a guy, and I always mess up Ruben's last name. I want to make sure I don't. Bariak. You're fighting Ruben Bariak. Now, this is a guy that's fought in Bellator. This is a guy that has fought some really high-level fighters. And I know you were going to fight him in the past. Something happened. It didn't happen. Now it is. How do you feel about this fight, Drew, first of all? And, what does it mean to you to be able to put this fight on here in your hometown?
This fight's huge for me. Ruben is a great fighter, very tough grinder. He guy comes to fight. He's in your face the whole time, and he's in a scrap 15 minutes. And that's what I want to do. I want to put a show on for the fans. I want to scrap. I want to go out there banging. I want to show my hometown, what I'm all about. And I think Ruben's a perfect matchup for me. It's gonna be two very high skilled fighters going out there, and Ruben's gonna grind the whole fight like he always does. And I'm very confident when I say that I'm at the best that I've ever been. Since I came back, I just been focused, and I made some changes in my life that were for the better. And I honestly say this is gonna be the best Drew you've ever seen. I'm in the best shape of my life. My skills are the best I've been. I'm excited for this, and I'm honored to share the cage with somebody like Ruben. Ruben's a very good guy, real humble, real respectful. So it's gonna be a great night of fights, and we're gonna go out there, handle our business, and go back to being friends afterward.
Exactly, and something else, Drew, that I know that I've watched, I've seen in you when I've spoken to you, and knowing what you've went through, your mental game. which in my opinion is more important because you've got the skills. It's the mental side. You have the mental side. That's something I think that you're in a place maybe that you've never been before. And that's exciting as a fan to see that because I know you are focused, you have committed 100, this is it, and you're going for it in your hometown. And this fight could be, I mean, it is a huge fight, Drew, but this fight could give you the opportunity to go to the next level in promotions and maybe, get up there with a top promotion. And it's that important. How do you prepare for something like that? And obviously, your experience has got to help you. But I mean, is there anything that you've done out of the ordinary for this camp?
Like I said, I made some necessary changes in my life. There was a lot of things that was kind of hold me back a little bit back in the past, and I made this necessary changes, and I feel like this is by far the most focused I've been for a fight that I can remember. I've had a lot of fights, I think like 84 of them or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's hard to remember them all, but with Brandon moving in, like I said, he picks up where I lack, and he's been keeping me focused and getting me eating right, and everything's going good. Like I said, I just feel like I'm ready as ever. So,
I'm looking forward to it, Drew, and I really do. I understand how important this is to you, and I know how focused you are and motivated for this fight. And so for me, and I'm a fan, that's what it's about. Now, Brandon, you've got a big fight coming up, but you're fighting Dan Claus, and this is a guy that comes forward. He throws bombs. He's a pressure fighter. What are you doing for this fight, if anything different from the last camp? And what do you think about your opponent coming up? I mean, it's a big fight for you.
Actually, coming into this fight, I was supposed to be fighting at 145. It was going to be my first drop to 145. And I was supposed to be fighting Jacob Butler. But 2 weeks out, he had to drop out of the fight due to military duties because he's in reserve. So he had to drop out. So last second, they gave me Dan Claus and allowed me to jump back up to 155, which is an awesome thing for me because I was having a very, very hard time getting down to 45.
Yeah.
And that just helped me out a lot because training's been feeling a lot better now that I'm not cutting all the carbs. I even had to start cutting protein out of my diet because I had to lose muscle mass. But now I'm perfectly on weight and I'm feeling amazing. And for someone to step in 2 weeks on a 2 week notice, and for me to jump back up to 55 is really bad for them, in my opinion. Me and Drew did a little bit of intel on him. Couldn't find a whole lot, but I dug around, asked a few people about him. Found out he's predominantly a Muay Thai fighter. We see that he goes forward a lot of accurate. He's very accurate with his striking. Four strikes on his blue belt, a little bit of wrestling. And from what I've seen, he looks to be a pretty good size 55 pounder. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is going to be a good fight. He's got a credible record. I think he's like 2-1 as a pro, but he's definitely no slouch at all. And not too much of a switch on my game plan, but I've been working on a lot of angle cutting and all around game planning is going good. Me and Drew switched to a new gym. We were kind of hopping around for a minute trying to find the right home, and we both train in Fuse MMA out in Clinton Township. We drive about 45 minutes to an hour out every other day to train with top competition out there. Bobby Nash and Marco Smallman, and David Newport, Adrian. I don't know how to say his last name, Adrian. But we got a room of great guys, and last but not least, Don Richards. Phenomenal coach, and the guy's like a black belt and everything. And I love picking his mind apart because it's just the way he runs his training and his philosophy. He's just an amazing coach. So I feel I've been more focused than I've ever been. I feel more at home. The way training is it's just everything ties in so perfectly. And then on our days off, Drew and I go to the old school boxing gym where we haven't been to in a long time, and getting our hands super crisp, training with the U.S. national team. So
Well, and listen,
everything's covered for sure.
I think, Brandon, you have gone through the fire in your pro career, and you're coming out the other end a different man, a different fighter. And you've learned from the past, and that's what it's about. I mean, you have to go through that to get to this point. And now you're fighting King of the Cage, one of the biggest promotions. I mean, is you look at the history of this promotion, and it really is amazing the company that you guys both have fighting for King of the Cage.
Yeah, it's an amazing opportunity because just last year I was at the top of my weight class in Michigan, and I took 2 tough losses, got caught in 2 submissions, and some fights that I think would have went my way, and ever since then, everyone overlooks me now. And I think this is a huge opportunity for me to jump on one of the biggest promotions in the U.S. and, let them know that, I'm still around, and, I should be feared in my weight class. And it's the first pro fight that I've had in my backyard. And, it's just great because everyone in my family, all my friends are going to be there, and it's a huge, huge opportunity.
Well,
This is literally in our backyard. We live directly across the street from the venue.
how great is that, though? I mean, really, think about that, though. How often does that happen? Well, it doesn't happen often. You could be going across the country, different altitudes, dealing with all this. But it can also be a detriment, too, because of the pressure and all the family and friends, and they want tickets, and they're pulling at you, and you can't concentrate, and the pressure of fighting in front of the home crowd. Does that affect you in that negative way? Do you see what I'm talking about? Is that the way you look at it, or is this something that you feed off of and you turn that into, energy and power for yourself?
Well, when it comes to the whole pressure thing, Brandon and I we both wrestled at the highest stages, but we wrestled at the national stages. We're used to the crowd. When you're out there, you don't see the crowd. I don't hear the crowd.
Yeah, you don't even hear them. You hear your coach and the ref.
That's right. It should be. And I don't pay mind really much to their fans, and they can be booing me, cheering me on. To me, it's background noise. I'm focused on what's ahead of me, and get through the fight, get through it safely, try and go for a finish, move on to the next.
To be able to pick your coach's voice out is so important, but it is amazing, though, sometimes in the arena and the venues when it is so loud, and that shows that the training is there, man. You've been with this person a long time. Now, would you guys like to, with this fight, obviously you never look past, but what would you guys like to do, both of you, after this fight? I mean, Drew, I know you got to the point where you refocused, looked at it again. Here you are coming back. This is a giant fight. You're not really coming back. I mean, but I think mentally you're a different man, and you're coming at this different. What are you looking to do with a win in this fight?
I actually, me and Brandon had this talk yesterday, and it was, at one point in my career, it was the fact that, I wanted to be in the UFC, I wanted to be UFC world champ, but, as I got older, I realized that maybe that is not what I was made for. I want to be the best I could possibly be. If I make it to UFC, great. If I don't, that's fine too. As long as I got to the best that I could possibly be, I'm content with that. And I don't know, I want to get a good win here, move up. There's a lot of good opportunities to be knocking if I win this fight. And I want to, for a while there, when I was taking my hiatus from the sport, a lot of people, as like Taylor and Brandon, kind of forgot about me. So it kind of reminds the people that that I'm back. I don't plan on going anywhere. And I I got a decent name in Michigan, but I'm gonna make my name pretty well known across the regional and nationwide scene here real soon, and I'm gonna start with it on the 29th.
I mean, obviously, you know what you want to do with your career. You reached that point and made that decision, and I think that's huge for you because of your mental game is really focused, and you've gotten over those questions that maybe you had before. And as a fighter, I mean, that's what you want. I mean, you want to be able to have that focus and that drive, and whether it's UFC, whether it's King of the Cage, Bellator, whoever, you're going to go in there and do the best you can and compete and do what you love to do, which is fight. And I mean, nothing but respect for that. I mean, as a fan, that's what I love, And Brandon, as well, you have, some things that you want to prove, to yourself, but to other people as well out there about who you are as a fighter and how you have matured through your first part of your career until today.
I think with Brandon and I too, I think the biggest thing with me was getting back in my mental state was that, the gym switch was big. As Brandon mentioned, we go train with my old boxing gym, and to me, that was taking me back to my roots where I started, and I had to find that inner dog in me again. So I figured, why not go back to where I started? You train in the grimy basement. We go in there, we put the work in. It's a no nonsense gym, and I think that had a lot to do with me getting back in a mental state. And I brought back one of my old coaches, Crew Clinton Smith. He's been working with us and been working with us at Fuse as well. He's a secret to he's a secret weapon to us when it comes to our striking. He's so knowledgeable. He goes to Thailand for months at a time. He fights in Thailand. He's taken for years. He's been coaching me for years, and just recently he's been working with Brandon. He's taken Brandon's striking to a whole other level, and that's a lot of it's a little secret weapon, and it's Clinton is really good with teaching, but he's even better when it comes to keeping you on your mental state. He's keeping you focused, and he knows what it's like to be a fighter. He understands, but he's one of those coaches that care about you. He cares about his fighters, and you're doing anything for his fighters. He puts his fighters first. And the same thing with Don too. I think bringing those two in was the best thing I could have done. And
Yeah.
I don't know if I speak for Brandon, but I think it's the best thing he could have done as well. I think it's both taken us to a whole nother level, and I think it's pretty scary where we're at right now. So
Well, yeah, he doesn't just coach you and then put you on your way. He wants to, they're both constantly picking your brain and get to know you on a real personal and emotional level. They want to know what's going on inside your head, and if you aren't on practice on time, or if anything's going on, they want to know what's going on. They care about what you're doing every single day, and I feel like those are the kind of coaches that you need that are on your ass.
Well, when you see a fighter,
good and you're there every day, they still want to know what you're doing every day, what you're doing inside the gym, what you're doing after, all that stuff.
when you see a fighter and they have that confidence in the coach, that trust in the coach, where they literally listen and do exactly and have that one-on-one connection, where the trust is something that it takes a long time to acquire that. When you do with a fighter and a coach, I think it's huge for the fighter because of the mental side, as you're saying. And nothing is more dangerous than a mentally prepared fighter with skill. Because I'll tell you what, when you do have your coach, you went back to the roots, right, Drew? I mean, you went back there, and it was breathing life into your career. It probably took a lot of stress off and pressure off as well. You got back to a comfortable place and then started to rebuild. And I think it shows in the way that you carry yourself, even speaking about it, So I'm excited about the fights. And, Brandon, obviously for you, it's helping as well to have that type of a coach who cares about the fighter as a person, as well as the fighter, and is doing the best he can to make him into the best man he can do. So, hats off. That's incredible. And, there's a lot of people that shape fighters' lives and that have a good influence. And you guys, I'm sure you have sponsors and things like that that you'd like to give a shout out to. Is there anybody, Drew, that you'd like to give some shout outs to?
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna give a big shout out to my PR guy, Jason Stoner with Guerrilla Media. He does a great job. Coming into this fight, I didn't have Instagram. I didn't have I didn't tweet. He handles all that for me. It takes so much less off what I have to do.
Yeah.
Big shout out to a couple other sponsors that I have. One of my biggest sponsors is Gordon Shell with the End of Dog Fighting campaigning. Gordon's a great guy. Does a great thing for the dogs. And a real big animal activist. We thank David Potter at Dream Elite. David's a great guy over there holding it down in New York and New Jersey area. He does a lot for me. Anthony LeBron for Every Victory Earned. He's one of my biggest clothing sponsors. Anthony has been with me since I started making my clothing for me. Great guy, does great work. Another big sponsor is Anthony Flores in the Realty. If you need anybody that needs your realty needs, Anthony's the guy to go. He's also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu badass.
Yeah.
So that helps. Joel Chapman with Chapman Creations. I always appreciate what he does for me as well as a sponsor. And last but not least, one of my newest sponsors is the Waterfront Tavern, which would be the home for our after party in Wyandotte. So it's going to be great to be out there partying on the water with a bunch of our friends and kind of enjoying all the hard work that we put in.
That's right.
We earned it. So
Yep.
it's going to be nice to be out there with our friends,
Well,
having some food and some adult beverages.
well, Drew, now that you've said that, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just jump on you and say, listen, I would love to come and document a little bit of that and maybe get a post interview from you as you celebrate what you worked so hard for, the victory. And
Is this before or after the whiskey?
that's up to you. We'll try to get you before. We'll try to get you before.
Yeah, before it's probably best.
Yeah. Now, Brandon, how about you? I mean, you obviously you've got some sponsors, people that you want to thank. To me, this is really important to the fighter is you have the place to let those sponsors know how they're appreciated and let some other people hear about these companies.
Yeah, for sure. First and foremost, I want to thank Fuse MMA, for taking me and Drew in. They took us in on 8 weeks, the perfect amount of time to train for a camp. And they took us in and trained us. And, we became a part of their team. Like, we've been there for years. And
Love those guys over there, man. Great teammates.
And it's just, it blows my mind away about the way our teammates treat us, the way the coaches treat us. And, we're definitely a part of the team over there. And, it feels like we're right at home. And I want to thank Don and all my teammates for all the hard work and the support all the way leading up to this fight. Barber Ortiz Beauty Salon, my buddy Matt Mclaughlin, he's been, that guy, he's a hard worker. He's not even 30 years old, and he started his barbershop in a spare bedroom in his house, and now he has his own company out in, where is it? It's Taylor. Right there on Van Born and Eat Force, excellent haircuts, salon for girls and stuff too. And, his business is booming. He's been cutting my hair for years now. Also, shout out to the boys at Detroit Barbell. Freaking weightlifting animals over there, man. I showed up to one of their powerlifting events for the first time a few weeks back and, showed them some support. And they'll be coming to my fight, showing me some support, hopefully. And those guys, I'm not a huge power lifter myself. I walked in their gym, the smallest guy in there, but they wanted to help me, with my powerlifting needs going into the fight. And, those guys are great over there. Shout out to them. And Waterfront Tavern as well, where we're gonna have our after party. It'll be great to see everybody there. Help us celebrate. Have fun, celebrate our victories. It'll be a good night because me and Drew are extremely focused. It's been a rough road, working a lot of hours and getting no sleep, training really, really hard. And it's going to be, I've been looking forward to this night, getting that victory.
Yeah.
I'll look at the celebration later, but I just can't wait to get in that cage and put in the work and let myself display all the hard work that we've been putting in these past 8 weeks.
Well, I can guarantee you, Brandon, that we're all looking forward to watching both you guys get in there and bring it, and especially here in our hometown. You know, Drew, I mean, it's really exciting for me. I really want to get a lot of the people over here to the Yak. Now, when is the fight happening, and at what time, everything?
The fight's April 29th, as you mentioned, at the Wyandotte Yak Arena, right off of Eureka Road, just before Biddle. Fight started at 5 p.m. As of now, it's about 20 fights, I believe, are booked.
Yep.
So you need to get you well your money's worth for 20 pro fights. That's unheard of. I mean,
It is. It is. I mean,
it's gonna be a great night, you know, and I'm excited for Michigan MMA. I'm excited for Wyandotte. Excited for King of the Cage to come here. The owner of King of the Cage is actually from here as well, or one city over at Southgate. So you know, it's coming. It's his homecoming too as well, you know, and this is gonna be just a great night. And you know, I just hope that, you know, like, it's a safe night for everybody. I hope everybody performs to the best of their capabilities that night. Everybody comes home safe, gets home to their families. But yeah, it's just I'm stoked, man. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, you know, listen, I'm definitely excited about it. We'll be there covering it, and I look forward to watching both you guys compete. I'm excited about King of the Cage, you know, coming here in my backyard, and you know, for that, I'm very happy. I can't wait to get everybody there. We will be watching both you guys compete, and hey, if you're a fan of MMA, you know King of the Cage, you know who this promotion is, who's been through there. These are the guys you're going to know tomorrow in the next promotion right here. So you got to support the sport, make a difference, speak up, make sure you show up to these fights. They're going to be incredible. I'm looking forward to it. So, hey, for Modern Pugilist Entertainment, for Drew Morais, for Brandon Mclaughlin, I'm Dan Cox. We will see you next time.